Solarpups team on stage. What is up, ladies? You are legends. I'm so happy to have all of you on the same stage. It doesn't happen often, I feel like.
Thank you so much. I think one of us got kicked out, so
oh no! How dare that?
Speak again, but thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be back and excited to be chatting today.
Yeah, pumped to be here. Thank you as always for including us. This is super exciting.
Oh, I'm so stoked. So ladies, I call them the JK whammy, right? Like coming, live to us. Man, I've been blown away by your project since the first time I kind of heard about it with you guys in the first AMA. It got me a solar pup. I'm so excited to dive into this. Again, you've been mentioned a few times throughout this. I don't know if you paid a couple of these other project leaders to drop your name or not. But your project's been brought
I
up.
didn't know that. I hope
oh yeah. Not to put you on this spot and on a pedestal, but yeah, it's good things. I'm super excited to talk a little bit about your advancements and what you're going through. So why don't you take the first couple minutes or so to talk about Solarpups, what you are, who you are, and all that.
Yeah, thank you. Now I got to go back and listen to these other recordings. But yeah, thank you again for having us. My name is John. I'm one of the founders on the project. We just launched Solarpups in August, and it's a NFT dog game built on Flow, and you can adopt different Solarpups. You can breed them, create NFT puppies, and keep, collect, sell, whatever you'd like to do with the pups. We just this month in October launched a partnership with Snapchat, so we were doing giveaways of Snap AR QR codes of your Solarpup, so you could play with it off mobile in augmented reality. And that was a pretty cool project. I think we've got 3 that were given away as part of this event. We've got another few going out next week, and then we're wrapping that campaign middle of November. So if you have a solar pup or you want a solar pup and you want to have it in augmented reality, follow us on Twitter at Solarpups NFTs and keep an eye out for those AR giveaways.
Yeah, and I'm Krikey. I'm the other Solarpups founder. Just want to say thanks again, Jimbo, for having us, and to everyone who's attending. We love Flow, love the community, and yeah, just excited to keep building and bringing you all awesome utility.
Yeah, I dropped both those giveaways in both the EIP and your channel. So everyone go get your entries into that. Can we talk a little bit about that? So obviously you're an animated, an animated 3D PFP, and they're the cutest freaking dogs ever. I love them. I know your background's in kind of the same, almost like, counter areas in Oculus and YouTube and stuff like that. You guys have some experience. You're obviously a highly intelligent team. You bring a lot to the table. Let's talk about how you're going into AR and what that's like, and kind of the near future of the Solarpups advancements.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the most interesting things, the week we launched Solarpups, we actually had a bunch of projects and other folks reaching out to us saying, the puppies are cute, but can you help us get our NFTs into AR? Could you help us build a game with our NFTs? And for context for those folks who haven't heard us before, before launching Solarpups, ran a mobile AR gaming company for 5 years. And so we've published tons of mobile AR games, have a lot of different toolkits and templates and experience. A lot of learnings over the last 5 years. And so we were really humbled when we had a bunch of folks reach out to us and thought, okay, well, maybe our value is bringing these toolkits to Web3 developers, and that is where we can have more of an impact on the community. We love dogs. Solarpups isn't going anywhere. It is still going to be the heart of what we do, but we want to amplify the toolkits that we use to build that, give those to other folks as well. So as we go into next year, we're working on launching some toolkits around augmented reality, gaming, custom avatars or custom NFTs that you can create, and then dynamic 3D minting. And I'll have Krikey speak maybe just briefly on each of those topics, and one of our social media managers can drop Krikey.xyz is where we have a list of these toolkits and a wait list that you can sign up for. But Krikey can talk a little bit about each of those categories of toolkits and just kind of give a description of what is the toolkit, how could it be useful to a Web3 team or for an NFT project, and give a flavor for what that feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the key things for us is that we really think Web3 is at an important inflection point where to kind of move to the next stage of engagement, really bringing mass consumer adoption, we need to have 3D, augmented reality, interactive games and experiences. And so all of our tools are kind of focused around how do we help projects either that are just starting out or they've already had a few successful mints. How do we help them at any stage of the process bring their NFTs into 3D interactive worlds to really drive more utility for all the holders in their community? And there's a number of ways that we're going to support this. So one is with game templates that work out of the box. So you don't need to be an advanced engineer to use these. We provide the code snippets. You can customize the game, add in your own 3D assets, your branding, really make the game feel personalized and special for your community. We also offer a dynamic minting tool, so you can dynamically generate 3D characters, add them to your community's wallets as like a fun airdrop, maybe as a reward if they complete a certain set of actions, almost like a loyalty program. We also offer the ability to put your NFTs into augmented reality on mobile. We think this is a huge one, right? Just being able to tell stories with an NFT that you own kind of takes the whole meaning of digital asset ownership to another level, where beyond just having something in your wallet or as a profile picture, now you can really take actions with that character. You can build a relationship with it. You can monetize it, turn it into a brand. So that's kind of the starting point for the tools. We're definitely open to community feedback. We're going to have a private beta in January. We really want to bring this to Flow first. This is our home. We are going to be supporting other chains with these tools eventually, but we think Flow is really poised to kind of become the blockchain for 3D AR experiences, and we want to use our tools to kind of help drive that adoption.
Yeah, I do see that in a few different projects that are working with AR and stuff like that. Have you? I know the other one I saw was Flovatar. I think not AR, but they added like a Snapchat feature. It wasn't AR. It was like it kind of is. I guess it's a mask you put on yourself, right? Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
where
the
you can make
face
like a
filters.
lens with Flovatar assets. Oh, sorry, go ahead, John B.
No, no, I was just gonna say the same thing. It's like a face filter, which is still AR on the selfie camera versus the outward camera. And Kaneki's got the technical degree in this, so I'll let her speak to it.
No worries. Yeah. I think that's a great example of, how do we bring utility to community members using 3D assets that are available, giving them customization options. We allow people to customize characters and mint them with one of our tools. So you can, take all the assets that make up a character, build your own. So you get to design and control how your NFT looks. And then when you mint that, it can go into a number of different 3D experiences. So it's not just, one character maps to one game. That's very Web2. We're kind of thinking, one character, millions of games and experiences. And the idea here is that we want consumers to be able to build an owned digital identity where their NFTs can carry over into multiple different Flow projects.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's that's really interesting actually. So, what a lot of these projects during our AMAs have been saying was they're building tools that like other projects can use. Is that kind of what you're hinting at? Is that something that you're kind of like one of the goals you're looking into progressing in this space?
Definitely, we want to build tools that any project can use. We're trying to make them low code, no code. We know, having spoken with many teams on Flow, that there's not huge engineering teams behind some of these NFT projects. And so building out a mobile app, building out a game, building out an AR feature, those things can be challenging if you've only got one engineer. And so we have tried to do that ourselves too in the past, before we even got into Web3, just figuring out how to build these things as a mobile gaming company. We learned a lot, and we want to bring those learnings in template format. So these are low code, no code toolkits that people can come in, literally plug and play with their NFT project, and then provide that back to their community. And our hope is that whether it's AR or it's a game, this is a new way for people to engage with their NFTs, to interact with them, create content with your NFT, maybe even build a brand around it. Whatever the end owner's goal is, we want to put more tools in the hands of the project creators to give utility to the owners.
Yeah, and it really is. It's a noble and needed thing, and genuinely, I love that saying, "Low code, no code." That's so true. I can tell you from experience that is an absolute fact with a lot of projects. There's small development teams with great developers, just not the resources, at hand that some would have. And so, what's interesting to me is kind of diving into the philosophical side, as you ladies know that I love to do. When you're talking about giving these different projects these tools and stuff, I mean, would it be safe to say it's kind of like you this experience through Solar Pups, through the breeding, through your past experience of Web2, is this all just, creating an opportunity for you to advance the whole ecosystem as a whole and the tech of the blockchain and the NFTs? Like, is that like your driving force? And if that's the case, do you see the Solar Pups funding, the other funding you get as the like a kind of a tool to be able to branch out and provide again more experiences for your users and outside of NFTs as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a big question. I think our
It is a
goal, I mean,
big question.
any creator, any founder that puts content out into the world, you just want to have an impact. You want to make a difference in other people's lives. So whether it's through Solar Pups or through these tools, we just want to make sure we're having an impact. And we I think, of course, would love to be considered a company that pushes the entire industry forward. But we'll see how that happens in the next year or so. We've certainly learned a lot in the last 5 years, and I think one of the big challenges is in life in general, going in a higher level philosophically, how do you take your learnings and apply them forward to have an impact, and not just on yourself but on others? So that's certainly what we're trying to do, and I hope we can.
That's incredible, and I've always gotten that vibe from you. The macro lens. I think that we got a good kind of sight of the projects that had the micro lens and the projects that had the macro lens. It's important to go throughout these stages of learning and progressing and advancement, but you got to keep the main thing, and provide for the community that supports you. So, with that being said, how has the breeding been going and stuff like that? Do you have like updated stats or some cool things to talk about with that? Because that has still since fascinated me.
Yeah, the breeding is, I think, one of the most exciting and under spoken about parts of our project. And I'll turn it over to Krikey to maybe, just because I know not everyone is familiar with the breeding in our project, Krikey, you can talk a little bit about what that is, how it functions in the Solar Pups game, and what it took to build that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way the breeding works is when you own two solar pups, you can breed them to get a new pup. And the fun of that is that we have a lot of undiscovered traits in the population, some mutations as well. So it's just interesting to see, like, hey, am I going to be that person who discovers a new trait? And each dog has 52 traits total. Some of these are dominant traits, and then for every dominant trait, so let's say fur, there's 3 recessive traits. So that's how we get to that high number of 52, and each recessive trait has a fixed probability of occurring. Now, there's a twist on Solar Pups, which is that when you play with your dog, so you get that happiness bar to 100% by playing fetch, teaching it to sit, all that good stuff. We actually throw in an extra trait. We call it the happiness trait. It also has a fixed probability of occurring, and that happiness trait is always a status rare or legendary, which is awesome, right? Because you're just increasing the chances that you get a super rare pup with a new or undiscovered trait or mutation. And then, yeah, once you click the breed button, that's where all the magic happens, where we're sifting through the traits with our algorithm, generating a new one-to-one dog. This is a one-to-one collection, so every dog is unique. And some people have ended up with that special trait. It's pretty fun in our Discord to see people posting when they breed. What does the end dog look like? And oftentimes, the new pups, they don't have some of the same traits as the parents. They're ending up with these cool recessive traits that we didn't even know the parents had. So to me, that's kind of the fun of Solar Pups is really the joy of discovery of new traits in the population. And to your point, Jimbo, yeah, we have seen a lot of breeding happening over the last few weeks. I think there's now some Gen 8, Gen 9 dogs on the market, which is awesome. They look great. There's traits that we had hidden that we're now seeing be revealed. So it's definitely an awesome process to see the community, really get engaged and kind of breed their dogs.
And how's the feedback been? I don't have enough time to kind of pop into the Discord. Is the feedback like super fun? Like in the Discord, are people just like stoked with it? Because you nailed it. It is underrated as hell, and I can't understand why.
Yeah, I mean, I think since like CryptoKitties, there hasn't been something like this. And we did talk to the CryptoKitties team before we built it, because we were like, we wanted to understand what what thought went into their breeding algorithm and what they wish they had done differently. And so we wouldn't, trip over the same, not mistakes, but challenges that they faced in building their CryptoKitties breeding algorithm. So it is quite cool. I think in our Discord, people love the AR pups. So we've been seeing quite a few videos of people recording their solar pup in augmented reality and sharing that off of Snapchat. And then also people just sharing their real dogs. I think there's an IRL dog channel in our Discord, which I love to go look at on occasion. And it's fun to see people's real pups too.
It's one of my favorite things about Web3 that people love their pets and love their dogs specifically. I wanted to touch a little bit about the roadmap. You guys have had an awesome roadmap the entire time. You stayed pretty on point to everything I've seen. Both getting the Dapper Wallet launching, you're on Dot Find, stuff like that. Is that everything else? I'm looking into the future, November, December. You're talking about a philanthropy project and a new dog breed. Are we still? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up. I see merch as well. Can we talk a little bit about the future of your roadmap?
Yeah, I feel embarrassed now because we haven't quite stuck to it. I think every project you evolve your roadmap based on what you realize is possible. But in terms of merch, we are printing. So we didn't get to do custom merch because that was quite difficult for us to set up. But we are printing some special physical merch items and putting them into gift boxes, which may or may not be given away on at Solarpups NFTs this holiday season. There's some very cute stuff in those boxes. So that's what we're doing for merch this year. Hopefully we can get the custom merch set up next year. Find and Floaty, I'll have Krikey talk about in a second. We are doing a new dog breed drop. We're planning to in December. Dog breed has not been announced yet, but it is super cute, and I am excited to bring another breed into the market alongside the Shiba Inus that are already there. Part of our project for folks who are just joining is that we're bringing different dog breeds into the Solarpups world, and eventually they'll be able to breed together, and you can collect lots of different dog breeds over time. So we launched with Shiba Inus because obviously that holds a very culturally special context in crypto. But we have a new dog breed that'll be landing in this Solarpups world in December. And then the philanthropy project also is in the planning, but we wanted to do something with a partnership with a few other projects. We did kind of a test run of that with Pyland, I think a couple weeks ago, and raised $600 for Bon Voyage, which is a dog nonprofit that El Dumbo supports in Mexico. I don't know
That's
if
so
everyone.
rad. It's such a good charity. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We learned about it through El Dumbo, and then we were talking to Pyland, and one of the ladies there also works with the same nonprofit, and it's so awesome. They basically rescue dogs in Mexico and then help rehome them for adoption in America, and it's a really, really neat, very dedicated nonprofit, and so we thought that would be a great beneficiary of a charity project, and we did a test run of that with Pyland in October, and I think they'll be the focus of our project again in December. But we're looking to involve a few other projects in that as well. So if you're interested, if you are a Flow project hanging out in here, let us know if you want to participate, and we'll loop you in as we plan that in November.
I'm not sure if Kentucky wanted to jump in, but no, hey, when I say you held your roadmap, I guess I mean you're still here, and you're still traveling
We're
forward. And
trying.
again, like, and I know it's hard. We've been talking about this and all these AMAs of this crypto winter. It is really tough, and I just think that you set yourself up with a base that's cool enough to allow people the fun. Again, people are still breeding. People are doing it. You said more so in the last few weeks. People have been doing it. Seeing those higher generations on the marketplace. I'm looking through it right now. The prices have kept up. I know we talked about it last time, but I do want you to just touch on real quick, kind of like your release strategy and kind of how you did that with releasing them and not having like one centralized drop. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I genuinely think, and I'm sure you might believe it too, but I think that was a huge like success and kind of a reason that you're still kind of booting with relevancy.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Definitely. I think so. When we were thinking about how do we roll out our pups, we wanted to make sure that we could avoid doing kind of one static drop and rather kind of roll out the dogs as and when it made sense for the community. And so we started with packs. So we did pre-sale with like common, rare, legendary packs. Then we drop dogs every hour. We would release 4 dogs on the market until we hit like a certain threshold of pups. The reason we did that is that we wanted to make sure that we could give people time to kind of peruse the options and also to get people to kind of come back and see what was new like every couple hours, which actually did work pretty well. Like people enjoyed coming in just to see what was new, how things had changed. The other reason we did that is that in our game, because people can generate new NFTs by breeding, we wanted to make sure that we didn't flood the market with like too many of our own dogs. And then there would be additional dogs that have been bred by the community. And then there's like too many dogs all at once on the market. So we wanted to make sure that we could really manage that supply and demand correctly. One thing I did want to add actually about the roadmap, which is relevant to dog supply, is that we are working on something really cool with Floaty around siring pups. Don't want to say too much more about that, but I know a lot of community members have been requesting, how do I give my solar pup to someone else if they want to use it for a specific trait? We have an answer coming for that sometime soon, probably this year. So yeah, just stay tuned. Going to be great. Love the Floaty team and excited to have a few more collabs like that coming up as well. We're also doing something special for Halloween with Flovatar. Love the Flovatar team. They're also doing stuff in 3D, which is awesome. So we definitely want to be working with them more as well.
Oh, yes. So if you have a Flovatar and a Solar Pup on Halloween, we're airdropping a surprise to those to holders of both collections. And actually, the Floaty collab, Jimbo, it came out of a feature request you made the week we launched. I don't know if you remember that, but I think you wanted to breed your pup with Luke's pup, and we were like, that's not possible yet, but maybe in the future. So future's coming soon.
I super appreciate that shout out. I'm so stoked. I mean, it's so crazy, and just to brag about what we do here in these communities is like we've already had Sven and I have had good conversations. We literally just had an AMA like right before y'all with a Soba Fi where I had Shingy. And he and I were like, oh, let's do this. And so like it's just so cool how it's all happening in real time. And then you are enacting on that with Floaty. The Floaty team is incredible. They really are, and what's really cool is that it's not just a platform to put your top shot moments and rent them out and stuff like the logic and the capability is so much more. And I'm so excited to see what you have in the works with them.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
going to be
The
awesome. We're pumped as well. Sorry, go ahead, Jumpy.
No, I was going to say the same thing.
Well, so you mentioned the Flovatar. Is there? I'm just alpha searching. Is there a specific wallet that will be dropped into? Will that be like available on both platforms, on one platform? How does that work?
Good question. I believe it's just Blockto, but Krikey can confirm this. Our project only has Blockto. Go ahead, Krikey.
Yeah, so the way it's going to work is if you're a Solarpups holder, I think all of our holders, we just confirmed this today. They are on Blockto, so you're going to be getting that dropped to your Blockto address. You can see it in your Solarpups Your Collection tab, which is one of the tabs inside of the marketplace. On the Flovatar side, gotta admit, don't have those details yet, but we will be posting them probably Monday morning right before the airdrop so that people know kind of where to go to check out what they got.
Oh, there's
Oh,
one
that's
other
rad!
thing.
A true collaboration.
Yes, there's one other thing we forgot to talk about. It wasn't even on our roadmap, so we should probably update our roadmap, but it's posters. And we just launched those this week. And I think those are pretty cool and interesting. And also the way we generated the posters. So I don't know, Katie, if you want to kind of explain that worked. But basically, for context, we airdropped like movie posters of your Solar Pup to your wallet this week. And people can do what they want with them if they want to, use it in a pitch with their Solar Pup for a brand project, or they want to just tell a story with it, or they just want a cool movie poster of their Solar Pup in a different pose. And I think those turned out really beautifully, and we have some more we'll be airdropping in the future. But how we generated them is also quite an interesting story, and I'll let Krikey share a bit about that.
Yeah, so we have a custom 3D pipeline, which is actually this is going to become one of the tools that we offer in Q1. But essentially, you can plug in 3D assets, pose them like however you want. And then when you run the tool, it'll take the NFTs of all of your holders and it'll apply that pose to them. So for the Solar Pup, we have like default Solar Pup. It's running like the Disney puppy bolt, and the camera's at a specific angle. And we did that and we hit let's go on the tool. And then we got for every single one of our holders, for every pup they own, they get that exact poster, but it's customized with their solar pup. And this is exactly what we're thinking about in terms of the future of digital asset ownership is once you get these 3D assets or even 2D assets, how do you really monetize those, right? How do you get utility and value out of a digital asset that now belongs to you? And this is just one experiment of what is it like when we turn these solar pups into Pixar characters. Like they look and feel so cool and so special. And so it's just one example of many things that can be done with our tools, and that's exactly why we're rolling them out more broadly next year.
Digital content creation. This is just so astounding to me in the sense of and correct me if I'm like completely more off my rocker than usual. The things that Pixar and Disney and stuff have done for decades and decades that cost a lot of money in animation and stuff like that. Do you see this becoming a technology that's more accessible to just the average Joe through blockchain technology?
Yeah, 100%. Like there's two things that are cool about this. So one is that our pricing is like Adobe Creative Cloud. So, we're not trying to break the bank here. We want this to be an accessible tool for everyone, just the same way Photoshop or something is. And the second thing is because you're minting these posters or these assets, whichever tool you use, you actually end up owning them, right? Like with Pixar and Disney, like you love those characters, but ultimately they belong to Pixar and Disney, right? They don't belong to you. So you can't really get any utility other than just the enjoyment of watching them. But with these characters, you can do whatever you want with them because they're actually your assets. So I think we're kind of at the beginning of this revolution here where when end consumers actually own the assets that they enjoy watching or interacting with, there's a whole new world of brand building and monetization that's opened up.
I man, do I love the R word. Woo-wee. I think you're right. I think making things more accessible to an average Joe who might not think he or she or they are an artist, but you are because you have intellectual ability and intellectual property protection is what is going to promote that. So allowing people to not only create but manipulate, support, however you want to put it, digital assets, it does give a lot of power to people. So that's really powerful stuff. I want to dive in a little bit into the future of AR, VR, and where you see that. I kind of pressed you a little bit last time, but I know you've done a little progression in that. Obviously, pushing these AR abilities with Snapchat. How I know. Forgive me if I forget which one of the sisters worked for Oculus or has that Oculus background. How close are we to seeing people creating this NFT stuff and being able to launch into the VR world? Because to be quite frank, it seems almost damn impossible right now for the average Joe to get their stuff into VR.
Yeah, so that's exactly what our tools are for. So we've kind of done the hard work. We've built so many of these experiences. We know how to load up your 3D NFT into AR, VR, or XR. So in an XR headset as well. And so you can take our tools and in less than 12 weeks get your community's NFTs to load dynamically inside of a really cool and interactive experience. And to your point, I think this is exactly where we think the sticking point is, right? Like if you have an engaged community but you don't necessarily know how to get them into these interactive experiences. How do you build them? There's so many questions. We spent a lot of time figuring out how to resolve those. And so we now want to just bring our skills to the broader Web3 dev community so that everyone can have some type of 3D interactive experience for their holders.
I'm already like, Eric, are you in the audience? I need to get to the party mansion real quick. That's exciting stuff. I'm blown away by that you're making toolkits like that. Are you looking at like who are your I hate using the C word. Who are your competitors in the NFT space as you see from an AR standpoint? Like who's doing stuff like that? Who are you learning from? Stuff like that. If you want to talk about for a second.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think on other chains, there's definitely tools that have started to serve game developers, but we haven't actually seen anything using augmented reality yet. I think AR technology is so new and some of those questions are still being worked out. Same thing with Web3. And our team kind of happens to be right at the intersection, especially because we built, a mobile AR app with games and, metaverse avatars for the South Asian market. A lot of those optimization skills, I think, make us well positioned to help deliver value quickly because we know how to make this stuff work on like the lowest end Android device. And if it works there, it's like definitely going to work on the iPhone 12 or the iPhone 14. So I think the short answer is there's definitely a lot of like gaming tools that are coming up right now, but we think our focus and where we excel is bringing 3D and AR experiences to multiple blockchains.
And I think that is the future, is cross-chain ability, and seeing this as decentralized rather than, little cliques or clubs. It's just, different, right? We're all just, they're different blockchains, allow for different things, but communities, community. So I think that'll still hit off over there. I mean, seeing Eric in the chat, I'm cracking up because, yeah, bringing AR to projects is an incredible utility, and I can't wait to kind of see some of the facilitation of that from certain projects. I do know that I don't know if we're ready to drop a little bit of alpha for this weekend, but we have another Halloween party on the 30th. That is Sunday to Monday, 24-hour with game-episodes, and you all are a part of it.
We are, and there is some special interactive project that we're dropping during that Halloween party. So definitely tune in, and you may get to play with a solar pup during that session. I don't know if that's enough alpha, but yeah, it's going to be much more. We're not going to be talking at you. We'll be talking with you and telling stories with the project we're dropping live in that Halloween party.
Yeah, it's an artist showcase live exhibition. So I'm so excited when I heard you guys were going to be a part of it. I was like, let's go. Genuinely a mixture of art, tech, and business. You ladies are hitting all the notches. And I know it's difficult, and I genuinely appreciate you staying in touch with your community, taking the time. I know you're super busy dealing with a lot of high level stuff. So I appreciate your time. I want to give you an opportunity. Anything else you want to share with the community, anything like that? And then I maybe have one more question for the end. So take it away.
Yeah, of course. I was just going to say, if there's anyone here in the audience who is interested in working with us in our beta for our tools in, AR and Web3 gaming, or a project that might be interested, please reach out to us. We want to meet everyone. We really want to help move the space forward, bring all these awesome projects to 3D AR Web3 gaming. So yeah, just hit us up. We're excited. Thanks, everyone.
One other thing I'll add there too, if you know of a project that you think would benefit from these toolkits, or wants to learn more, please definitely tell them about us. You can share the Krikey.xyz link from the chat room with the project that you think would benefit from this. One of the other services that we do offer is 2D to 3D conversion. So if you know of a project that wants to build a 3D game, that wants to get their assets into 3D for augmented reality features, but currently it's in 2D or it's just an image, we can certainly help there as well. And we are already working with a few NFT projects to convert their NFTs from still images to 3D models, and also rigging, animating, and optimizing them in order to use the toolkits more effectively. So please definitely let your friends know, or sign up for the wait list. Reach out to us. We're happy to talk anytime.
And then you touched on my question. I was going to just get on my hands and knees and beg for one more piece of alpha. Can you share any of the projects that you're working with currently?
Oh gosh, I don't know if we can do that yet. But what we will do is once we start development, we'll certainly share BTS stuff as we're building with them. So I don't want to I didn't get the clearance from the other projects to talk about it today, but
me, I'm gonna try my best.
I know. The one thing I was gonna say before we leave was just thank you so much for hosting this. And I don't know how you're awake for 24 hours, but we're so grateful we're doing this in the daytime because we go to bed so early now. And so it's like we can't do midnight, but thank you so much for hosting us as part of this event. And again on Sunday, we're excited to see you, Jimbo, and then everyone else as well.
I can't wait to party with you ladies again. We're gonna hit it off again on the 30th, and in the game-episodes Discord, more to come from that. But again, ladies, thank you so much. I do it just because this kind of stuff excites the hell out of me. Not only just the physical parts of like what you're creating when it comes to toolkits and providing for the community, both projects and investors and holders, but just like genuinely love your passion. So it's contagious. So keep it up, keep rocking, and again, I can't wait to see what you have coming for us. It's just exciting stuff. So shout out to Krikey, Solarpups, and the J&K Alliance. Appreciate you ladies so much.
Thank you so much, Jimbo.
Thank you, Jimbo.